Hello, a very good morning. Welcome to this morning's Mega News 6 live and direct from our studios on this 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. This is MBN TV, your mega broadcasting network. The news is also live across all our social media handles on MBN 360. My name is El Samuels. The headlines.
Cut out desperation of power. Fifi Kwete warns NDC members. In business, over 1.6 billion Ghana cedis released to drive food security, agribusiness growth. Nyako Ampem. And on the international front, 63 injured after ACTA strikes Kuwait International Airport.
This and many other stories coming up. The General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, Fifi Kwete, has cautioned party members and other political leaders against pursuing leadership position out of a personal ambitions, warning that desperation for power can lead to poor governance and national decline. Speaking at the 47th anniversary commemoration of the Food John uprising on Thursday, June 4th, Fifi Kwete urged aspirant leaders, particularly within the NDC, to prioritize service to the nation over individual political ambition.
According to him, leadership should emerge naturally from a genuine desire to serve, rather than from a personal pursuit of political power. He cited former President John Evans Atta Mills and John Dramani Mahama as examples of leaders who did not aggressively chase power, but responded when called upon to serve the country. In contrast, he criticized former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, arguing that excessive personal ambition for the presidency can negatively affect governance. My plea to all people who are aspiring for leadership of our country, especially at the NDC, is to cut out the desperation, cut out the selfishness, cut out the thinking that this is about you, he said. He stressed that political leadership should not be treated as a personal entitlement or an ambition to be pursued at all costs. You must not orchestrate left, right, and center just because you want to become a leader. Leaders in this party emerge. This country needs leaders who truly love the country and not themselves, he stated. Fifi Kwete further warned that when personal ambition becomes the driving force for seeking office, the broader interests of the nation are often compromised. People who are desperate and must be leaders by all means should not be encouraged because such desperation only leads to a nation going down. The destiny of our country is at stake, he added.
The Minority Caucus in Parliament has accused government of deliberately frustrating the passage of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Value Bill, popularly known as Anti-LGBTQ+ Bill, whilst attempting to manage the political consequences of abandoning a position it previously championed. In a statement issued on Thursday, June 4th, and signed by the Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markins, the caucus pointed to what it described as conflicting positions taken by key figures within the governing National Democratic Congress, NDC, regarding the bill.
According to the minority, the controversy intensified after Parliament passed the amended bill. It recalled President John Dramani Mahama suggesting that the House may not have had the required quorum during the passage of the legislation. The caucus also referenced Speaker Alban Bagbe's calls for the bill to be returned to the floor for a fresh consideration stage, as well as reported disagreements from the majority leader on the matter. The MPP believes these contradictions reflect an attempt to frustrate the bill's enactment while managing the political consequences of abandoning a position that the NDC once vigorously championed, the statement said. The minority further argued that the NDC's current posture contrasts sharply with its position while in opposition, when it strongly advocated for the passage of the 2024 version of the bill and criticized delays in securing presidential assent. According to the caucus, the reintroduced bill, which has undergone 31 amendments, represents a significant departure from the NDC's previous stance on the legislation. The minority maintained that Ghanaians who supported the NDC based on its earlier position on the bill have a right to expect the government to honor those commitments. The caucus reiterated its call for the version of the bill passed by the 8th Parliament in 2024 to be approved in its original form and forwarded for presidential assent. The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill remains one of the most debated pieces of legislation in Ghana, with discussions continuing over its content, constitutionality, and the process required for it to become law.
Away from the floor of Parliament, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman, has urged government officials and members of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, to remain focused on delivering of government policies which she says are directly improving the lives of citizens. She made a call of the National Democratic Congress June 4th uprising commemoration held at the Banda on Thursday, 4th June.
Addressing the gathering, the Vice President emphasized that the party's origins were rooted in a desire to correct perceived governance challenges, a purpose she said must continue to guide their work in office. There is a reason why we became a party that should never escape our minds. We became a party because we thought there was something going wrong. If we are here, we must right that wrong and ensure that the rightness that we have established remains. It has to remain in the lives of everybody. Whatever policy we bring should translate into the physical and everyday lives of people. Whatever policy that we work so hard to manufacture in our manifesto must mean the way we are implementing this manifesto to better the lives of people, she said. She stressed that government policies must be reflected in tangible development outcomes that citizens can feel in their daily lives. According to her, investment in key sectors such as roads, healthcare, and education demonstrates the government's commitment to using national resources in a way that benefits all citizens. This is how we are planning to spend national resources, in a way that benefits all of us, she added. Vice President Opoku Agyeman also commended ministers of state as well as metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives (MMDCs) for their efforts in implementing government programs aimed at national development.
Away from the commemoration of the June 4th uprising, with Vice President Professor Nana Opoku Agyeman, we move straight to the business desk, where the Ministry of Finance has released a 1.6 billion Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in 2026, representing 85% of the country's approved budget for goods and services and capital expenditure. The disclosure was made by the Deputy Minister for Finance, Thomas Nyanko Ampem, during the launch of the Ghana National Part of the Agriculture Transformation, Food Security, Employment Agri-Connect Compact on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026.
The announcement directly challenged claims that the Ministry of Finance has failed to provide adequate funding to key ministries and state institutions. Speaking at the event on Thursday, June 4th, Mr. Nyanko Ampem said the Mahama administration is matching its agricultural transformation agenda with substantial financial commitment and targeted investments. He noted that the government's commitment to agriculture is evident in a number of flagship programs being implemented under the leadership of President John Dramani Mahama. According to the Deputy Minister, the government's vision for agriculture extends beyond increasing production to transforming the entire agricultural value chain, improving food security, creating jobs, and strengthening economic growth. To support this agenda, he announced that significant resources had already been released by the Ministry of Finance to fund critical interventions across the sector. I am pleased to confirm that we have released 1.677 billion Ghana cedis, representing 85% of the approved 2026 budget for goods and services and capital expenditure for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, he stated. Providing a breakdown of the releases, Mr. Nyanko Ampim disclosed that 581.4 million Ghana cedis has been released for the establishment of 50 farmer service centers across the country to support mechanization and improve productivity. 110 million Ghana cedis has been released for irrigation infrastructure projects to expand year-round farming and reduce dependence on rainfall. 515.3 million Ghana cedis has been released for the supply of fertilizers and certified seeds to farmers to boost crop yields and food production. 244.9 million Ghana cedis has been released for the poultry farm to table projects in Kuko Kitin to support the growth of the poultry industry. 200 million Ghana cedis has been released for the National Food Buffer Stock Company to address long-standing challenges in the storage, distribution, and trading of agricultural produce.
On the international front, at least 63 people were injured after an Iranian missile and drone attack struck the Kuwait International Airport on Wednesday, June 3, 2026, causing significant damage to the airport's main passenger terminal, disrupting flight operation, Kuwait authorities said.
The attack targeted civilian facilities, including Kuwait International Airport and diplomatic missions, marking a major escalation in regional tensions despite a ceasefire announced earlier this year. Kuwaiti officials said the strike damaged Terminal 1 of the airport, forcing authorities to divert flights and temporarily suspend operations. Kuwait State News Agency reported that 63 people were injured in the attack, while the country's Civil Aviation Authority said the airport sustained substantial damage. Authorities later announced a partial resumption of operations, with national carrier Kuwait Airways restarting some services from Terminal 4 after safety assessments were completed. A spokesperson for Kuwait's Defense Ministry described the incident as criminal Iranian aggression that resulted in significant material damage and injuries to civilians. civilians. Officials said those injured received medical treatment, although details of the victims were not immediately released. The attack formed part of a broader wave of Iranian strikes targeting Gulf states. U.S. military officials said some missiles aimed at Kuwait failed to reach their target, while additional drones directed at U.S. forces in the country were intercepted or missed their intended objectives. In response, U.S. forces carried out strikes on targets on Iran's Qasem Island and intercepted several incoming missiles and drones across the region. The renewed hostilities have heightened concerns about regional security and the stability of critical infrastructure in the Gulf. The latest violence has also raised fears of further disruption to aviation and energy markets, with oil prices rising as investors reacted to the renewed conflict and uncertainty surrounding shipping routes in the Gulf.
And that's it for this morning's Mega News at 6, coming to you live from our studios on Exchange Avenue Extension, Great Estate, and Nungwa Adugono. The news was also live across our social media handles on MBN 360. But before we take leave, let's take a second look at the stories making headlines.
Cut out desperation of power. Fifi Kwete wants NDC members. In business, over 1.6 billion Ghana cedis released to drive food security, agribusiness growth. Nyako Ampim. And on the international front, 63 injured after ACTA strikes Kuwait International Airport.
For more news, log on to MBN 360. My name is El Samuels. Up next, the sports update. Good morning.